allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just noticed these guys whipping off their hats. I know you do for the next. Okay, motion to approve the agenda.
We'd like to move one item. The Sizerco, the solar project, we'd like to move from,
Action B1.
yeah, keep going. So move it to where?
Administration, section 7. Action A, after 4, before 5. So we'd like to call it action 4.5.
And the reason there's a presentation that kind of ties together all the different projects.
Okay, say it again.
We'd like to move business action 1
Okay,
to administration, section 7, A, 4.5. In between 4 and 4 point, in between 4 and 5. 4.5.
where's my form?
On page, this is on page.
No, it's okay.
60.
I'm just on the wrong piece of paper.
So moved as amended.
Okay,
Move as amended.
do we need to second? Someone want a second Steve's motion? Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Okay, now, so we should approve the agenda with that addition, right?
That was a motion.
Okay. Oh, so it's all wrapped up now. I don't have to go back and approve the agenda. All right. Announcement of action taken in closed session. In closed session, we reviewed an administrative action that was raised by a parent, and we talked about a legal issue that needs to be resolved in the court, and that'll take place. Okay, so let's move on to recognition.
Yeah, so last Thursday we had a band concert, and I'm going to share some of my comments there because they're still appropriate. This is a bittersweet night because it's sweet. We're celebrating one of the best music teachers to ever come to our district. It's sad because she's retired from leaving us. Well, I guess that's not sad for you, but sad for us, right? Mrs. Thompson probably touches more kids in a day than any of us. And teacher, principal, bus driver, custodian. She starts her day normally at Buena Vista like at 7 o'clock. Kids come at 7:15. They practice. She races across. Well, she drives the speed limit across the way, and then she conducts her music classes with the TK through 5 all day, and then 2 days a week does choir. And this is I don't know, 3 days. Thank you. So I think it's my 29th or 30th year here in this district, and I can tell you that there's no better music teacher that we've had. She's the gold standard, and she's absolutely made our music program something to be proud of. Kids adore her. That was very obvious the other night. She was given a quotes by the kids. One of the top band students have, and I think we hugged her. And so we're here just to honor Mrs. Thompson for her 6 years here. 6 years, but she and her husband, who also, the other half, or the better or the worse, whatever, you guys decide that. We're going to miss him too because he also volunteers a lot of days working with the band students. Plus he makes great cookies in the back there, just had one. So we would like to honor you, Kristen, and thank you for your time here. Chris would also like to say a few words and give you a plaque.
Come on up. Here, come stand over here. Let me fully embarrass you, Chris.
Keep good. Thanks. That's you, Chris.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Sorry, there were things going on here. I feel like this is one of the hires that came along when I got onto the board, and someone that I'm most proud of bringing her here. She was my director for barbershop. And she's brought barbershop kind of to the county and done a lot of that work. So when she applied and took the job here, I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed. And so I'm glad that she's here. And so I want to read you this plaque. The parents, students, employees, and Board of Trustees of the Spreckels Union School District community commend and honor Kristen Thompson. Got a Kleenex? For 6 years of
Cameras on it.
distinguished service as our music teacher. This plaque is presented in appreciation of Mrs. Thompson's hard work, skill, and dedication to her profession. With this acknowledgement, the Spreckels Union School District honors the years of outstanding service rendered to Spreckels Union School District. Presented by a grateful Spreckels Union School District on June 2023. Let's have a hand for
Jeffrey, you're right. You called it.
I should have done it before. 1, 2, 3.
And then on a personal note, I have this book of songs and illustrations by Sandra Boynton. It's called Dog Train. It's got all these people singing different silly songs, mostly involving dogs. And not only does it have Sandra Boynton's unmistakable artwork and all the words, but for Mrs. Thompson, music.
Because I always want books that have music in it. How did you know? You know, I came here from a different school district and from a totally different place, and I was just promoting barbershop because I got hooked in the 90s in my community and moved down here. This guy. You know? And I'm moving back home to the same place, so I'm not going to be far. I'll be in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and I'll be coming down to do barbershop, and I can't wait to see you at all the performances, and I'm going to miss you so much. I didn't plan on this happening so soon, but my wonderful father passed away, and God bless him, and I inherited the house, so pool parties. I'll let you know when it's ready. We're fixing the place up, and there'll be a Spreckels party coming up soon. I don't want to leave you. I wasn't planning on doing it now. This is the place where people grow, where when you need something, it happens. When you say, I need this to grow something, it's there. I've had support since day one. When I came here, it was just a mess. And then I started tidying things up because that's the Virgo that I am. And everything was amazing. And then COVID happened, and I grew even more. And so did our program. Because here at Spreckels, I see that, art, the drawings that come out of the room next door to me, the beautiful art that comes next door to me, and the beautiful music that comes from the children and the parents that support that. It's just, this is the place where great things grow, and I envy the next person who comes to take my job after me, and I'll be up on Summit Road waving to you every day. I'm so sorry I can't be close enough to commute, but this is the greatest job that anyone can have, and I can't wait for someone else to realize that. I love you guys. I love you guys. I always will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sarah, take a deep breath. We have more recognition. Next up, we have the student body of Buena Vista, and Mrs. Jones is here. Hopefully, gonna talk about the program, have some of the kids speak, and identify them? Thank you.
Mrs. Jones, you want to turn on that microphone, please? Is the red light on?
When it turns red, you're good. You gotta press it down. And there you're good.
There you go.
Now I'm on. Okay, good. So I'm Christina Jones. I think all of you, I've been here a very long time, not quite as long as this guy, but I'm catching up. And I have the pleasure and the privilege of being, now I'm going to start crying. The ASB advisor in addition to being an 8th grade teacher in the district. Many of the students behind me are also my current students in English and history and literature, and a future student, right? So I'm actually going to let them do the talking because they'll say it much better than I will. I've got President Mackenzie O'Hara. I've got Vice President Audrey DeCarli. I've got Public Relations Chair Brianne Maestri. And I've got homeroom reps Jordan Shapinski, Charlotte Johnson, and Lauren Miller. We actually have a very large ASB class this year, the largest actually I think maybe ever. And these students graciously took time out of their evening to come and talk to you about ASB. I'm going to say this at graduation, leading is hard. You all know that. It's really hard when you're a middle schooler and you're leading middle schoolers. So I'll let them testify to that.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. I'm the president of ASB at Buena Vista. And basically this year, our goal was really to kind of make it seem as normal as possible because we haven't really had normal years for a while. Mm-hmm. And so we did a lot of things that is really what like the normal ASB students would do for a normal year to make it normal. And so some examples would be we did 2 school-wide dances. We did a food drive in the beginning of the year. We've had multiple spirit weeks. Some of them were holiday themed. Others were just for fun. Like we did a fun one just a couple weeks ago. We've done fundraisers like for leukemia and lymphoma. We've done homeroom competitions and sports competitions. And tomorrow we're actually having the first school-wide rally that we've had in a couple years. And that'll just be, and that'll be themed and just to kind of, because tomorrow is also our last day in ASB for the year. So that'll just kind of be to end off the year. And yeah, so that's kind of.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to add to that?
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. I'm Audrey DeCarli. I'm the vice president. I didn't plan anything for tonight, and I promise that doesn't reflect me most of the time, but that's just an occasion. So I had the privilege of being vice president for the Buena Vista ASB this year, and I would just like to thank Mrs. Jones for all she's done for the school and for ASB because she does a lot of hard work, and she also has to grade a bunch of papers because she's also a teacher. So she does a lot for her school, and I'd just like to thank her for all of that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Brianne. I'm the public relations officer, and I'd just like to say thank you to Miss Jones. She's really an amazing teacher. I'm gonna miss her so much. And I think students, they really brought their school spirit this year, which I was really excited about. So yeah.
Especially 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we actually we won a spirit week finally, which is really exciting.
It never
Yeah.
happens.
So yeah, I'm really gonna miss it.
Thank you.
Jordan and Charlotte, you want to say anything? You don't have to. Oh, come on. Seriously? So, Board of Trustees, if you have questions, I told them that you might have questions. You don't have to ask any questions, but you can. Or we can just take our...
I have a question. Are any of you thinking about continuing leadership next year in high school?
Yes.
Great.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we need to put the public relations chair to work for the district, don't you think? We could use
That's
one.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for your work. Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Yes, please. You guys want to come up?
Let's actually have you all stand with the board.
What? Yeah, you guys come on around.
Audrey, you wing it well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
By Dr.
We'll look.
Jordan, you have anything to say?
No, it's okay.
That's not you.
I know. That's what I hear.
All right. Ready?
cameras.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's a good trick, Kate. 4 or 5. Better than mine.
Go that way. Okay. Mrs. Jones, is this an unusually tall ASB?
No kidding.
So, yes, being unusually short, So I'm going to ask that my students can be excused because they have a big final exam tomorrow. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. You mean with you tomorrow? It's your class, okay.
Yep. No rest for the weary.
All right.
Yes, you can go.
Science fair winners.
You don't have to. But you
Yes,
can,
we're
because you got it.
we can now recognize our top 5th grade science fair winners. Now I put them on the spot a little bit. I was gonna call them up, have them stand up, and if you remember your topic, that's great. It's been 2 weeks, guys. You remember your topic. And if for some reason you remember your hypothesis, you could say that. So this year, I was there, and they were very impressive. They went through the entire scientific method, hypothesis, gathering their data, making their findings. Our 8th graders, about 15 of them with our science teacher, Mrs. Owens, went over and graded, and at the end of the day, Drake Bunden came in first place. Drake, what was the topic?
Does air pressure affect how high a ball bounces?
What's the answer?
The ball with more air pressure has bounced higher.
Great. He was a science
Yeah.
dean, so do you
I
want
like that one.
You want to grill him with?
No,
And a basketball coach.
I do, but I won't.
That's impressive. Second place was Annie Jansen. Annie, what was your topic?
Mine was about me trying to learn how different spices were affected by surface tension.
Great. Were they?
All of them except the salt was affected because it hit the bottom.
Wow. Thank you. And Claire Healy came in third place. What was your topic, Claire?
Does the condiment and the type of bread affect how fast it molds?
Whoa.
Oh.
And the answer?
The cranberry sauce with white bread.
Wow. Noted.
That's great. Would you guys mind coming up and taking a picture with the board? Thank you. You guys stand back. Okay.
They can come
Why
up.
don't you come back? Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Go stand at the table. Yeah.
You feel better. In the next 3 years, you guys are going to grow quite a bit.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Let's go to the new America.
Okay.
Next up, we want to recognize our Spreckels Union Educational Foundation. They just finished their hoedown, so this is one of the things you recognize and you get a gift, I think, a big gift at the same time.
As long as there's no pictures, I'm okay.
Okay.
Don't anticipate, Eric.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Totino. I'm a fairly new mom to Spreckels, mom of a first grader. So we came in first year after COVID with, all the things. So we were happy to actually have a hoedown this year with a whole new executive board. So it was kind of like the blind leading the blind, which actually worked out pretty well.
It's fun.
We plan on doing it again next year. There are a couple of members leaving, one for sure. So we're looking to fill a spot there. I think we've already persuaded somebody into taking it in. So with that said, we just want to keep up on the momentum that we had from this year. We had a really, really great turnout. We had amazing feedback. We actually had people reach out to us after saying that they wanted to be one of the, sponsors or donate, XYZ. So it's exciting. We're going to keep it going. And we should have a larger contribution for you guys next year. But this year,
Take it.
we'd like to present you with.
This is a large check.
Yeah. Very
And you have to do a picture with that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
You know what a hoedown is? now?
I do now.
And if I can tag on that, I've taught all the children how to dance.
Got a hold.
Aaron Copeland's hoedown, telling them that the next hoedown the parents need to actually host a hoedown where you dance instead of you swing your partner and do-si-do and you down and back and you peel the banana.
Okay.
So ask your children.
There is a hoedown.
And the next hoedown, please actually dance the hoedown with some hoedown music.
Monica, can you put a
That's
note
what only
to invite her to the
Thank
hoedown?
you.
The hoedown and the pre-hoedown. We're going to invite you
You gotta
back.
have a hoedown. You gotta dance the hoedown at the hoedown. And all your children know how to do it.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah.
And, you know, we invite you all to stay as long as you want, but this is a good point for people to head off back home if they want to and listen to your CD in your car on the way home if you still got a CD player. You're going to love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Bye guys. Good job.
Okay, I have a,
Can we do one thing before that?
yeah.
One last recognition. We said some nice words a few months back, but this is Kate's last board meeting, and she's done such a wonderful job. We give her some flowers tonight, but Kate, you'll be missed, as we shared before, and she's counting down. You're 6, right? You told me today 6?
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah.
There's 6 more days left.
So graduation.
Did you say you already gave her flowers?
We give her flowers. Yeah, but
Oh, I want to give her something. So, you know, because of your kids.
The book.
So here's the Japanese children's stories, so that you can read them. They need to know about Japan, you see. So it's very important.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we are expecting our 3rd in October.
yeah.
So we find out if we're a boy or girl on Monday. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. But looking forward to family time, and I wasn't going to make Eric do my maternity leave again.
No. It's actually 3 times a charm. But Kate is the consummate professional. She could easily, write out the last 6 days, right, and not do much. But she's, thank goodness for nesting as well. But she's making sure the next principal's completely set up. I was there this morning. Kate has this color-coded schedule that she worked with on the teachers that I think made them happy, Mr. Dodd. Yes, it's a rotating schedule. But everybody's happy, so it's a good thing, right? And so, Kate, thank you so much for being the professional you are and making sure that the next person's ready to go. Appreciate it. She's sharing files and all that. Yeah. And we hope to someday have you back and have you retire and get a plaque, because you're not old enough to retire by yet. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Make sure that you forward us those pictures that you took, because tonight you were official photographer too. There you go. Okay. All right. I have a request from a speaker, Molly Jansen. Okay. So step up to the podium. 3 minutes.
Hopefully I don't need that long. I shared with a couple people on the board earlier, but I saw in the board packet that the classes are going to be much larger for 2nd and 3rd grade next year. And I understand why, with the decrease in enrollment, you have to make some tough decisions, but I'm hoping that the board will push forward some additional general ed aids to help with the classes, because specifically for 3rd grade, the current 2nd grade class across the nation, there's studies been shown they didn't have a traditional kindergarten thanks to COVID. These kids are struggling. They're behind in reading, they're behind in learning, and that particular class has been affected. Not just, it is definitely affected here, but in other cities and states throughout the country. And then for the current 1st grade class, going from a class of 20 to a class of 29 is going to be a big change. And so an aid would make a big difference. And so being proactive with how we're thinking about how we're going to make it work so that the kids don't suffer and they're still getting that really good quality education that we expect here at Spreckels. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. Jensen. Or Jansen. Sorry. Okay. No other individuals to... Okay, so bargaining unit presentations. Mr. Dodd.
top of page 4.
We are waiting to exhale. I think we're all just recognizing how close we are, but we don't want to let it out too early. So, but I do want to thank Kate. I don't know how many different positive words that connoted her diligence and dedication to making a schedule that satisfied. There were, was it Abe Lincoln? You can't make everybody happy all the time, something like that. I wasn't a history guy, but she worked really, really hard on that, and entertained just about every crazy idea, and was able to put it together in a color-coded thing that, I just had to go to my happy place in my mind. I couldn't process it, but it was beautiful from what I heard. Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much. We again really appreciate the board's effort to listen. I think I've had more communication with board members and administrators in this first year as my STA president, and I'm not sure why I was expecting it to be worse, but anyway, thank you for taking it easy on me. So I just like to again thank you for all of your efforts. I'm starting to see what a real juggling act it is. So with Mrs. Thompson's pool party, I'm hoping that next year, we tried to put something together for the staff members, the STA members that were leaving, and then it became significant resignations and retirements. So the STA, probably me more than anything else, wasn't able to put it together for something at the end of this year. But with the 25th year anniversary of Buena Vista, we're hoping that if we give you a date next fall, that it'll still be 25 years. It'll be getting close to the end.
We'll do a kickoff to the next 25.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
The all 25 team.
Yeah. Thanks, Dodd.
Thanks, Steve.
Mr. Dodd. Okay. Anything from CSCA? I don't see anybody else. You got nothing, huh? Board member comments. Steve?
No.
Nothing? Peter?
No, nothing today.
Frank?
Yes, please. There were.
You gotta hold it down. Hold it down.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
There were a lot of wonderful things said about a lot of wonderful staff, some that are going to be with us next year, some that aren't. A lot of students were recognized for great accomplishments. I don't want to rain on any of that, but I do want to go on record as saying I'm still not in support of the solar project, and that is something that has been set in motion already. I don't know what our options are to slow it down, reevaluate. I'm confident that if the community had an opportunity, they have an opportunity, they continue to fail to show up and voice their concerns. If they were aware and somehow took the opportunity to voice what they're really thinking, they wouldn't be happy with what we're doing. So again, I just want to go on record as not being in support of it, and I think it should be reevaluated before we go farther down the rabbit hole. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, we got an agenda item on that further on. Do you have anything to say, Stephanie?
I do.
Okay.
So first off, I just want to apologize for missing the last meeting, and hopefully we'll all be injury-free and we can all make the board meetings throughout the rest of our terms. As we end, we come upon the end of the school year. I just want to thank all of our community and stakeholders for all their effort and dedication to the education of all of our students. Thank the families, the teachers, the staff, to all who are a part of our success. And please take care of yourselves during the summer break, which kind of leads me to my next point. Although I wasn't here last month, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, although I wasn't able to acknowledge it then, I do want to recognize the importance of it for everyone in our Spreckels community to care for themselves as we wind the year down. The studies show that many of us are struggling, whether as parents, teachers, support staff, and unfortunately even our students too. And it's important for us to talk about this topic that's often stigmatized and shamed, so that we can bring this issue into the light so that those who need support can access it in a safe and welcoming space without judgment, and awareness can break down barriers. We know that there's a lot that's coming out in studies about the mental health impact, especially of youth and adolescents. So I wanted to acknowledge that, and then finally acknowledge that today is June 1st and the start of Pride Month, which celebrates the LGBTQIA community. And I just wanted to acknowledge their contributions to our community, whether it's families, students, staff, admin, everyone in between, teachers, and just that I want to continue to be committed to ensuring a safe and welcoming space.
Okay, thank you very much. All said. Okay, we got one written communication from a parent discussing a discipline matter. We talked about it in closed session, and I think we resolved it. So I don't think I see anything else written. No? Nope. Okay. Reports, Superintendent.
Just a few comments. As we wind down, I want to make sure I thank everybody for making this a very successful, and I think one of the kids said normal year. It felt normal again. To the board for your oversight and support, thank you. To our staff, tireless work, your dedication to the kids. They feel it. As you saw tonight, they adore our staff, so thank you. To our parents and community, they work with us as partners the entire year. They fundraise when we need to, so thank you. And to the kids that remind us why we're here, and really we're lucky to work with such great kids. So to the community, thank you. It's been a successful and very normal year. It's been great, and we're looking forward to summer. But before summer, we got some things coming up. We wrap up testing this week, 3rd through 8th graders. We usually get those results back late July, early August, kind of depends on the state. We'll get those to parents, and we'll have a good, now that we're 2 years past the pandemic, we'll have a chance to look at the scores and say, okay, where are we? Last year was the first year testing in a few years, so I would call those, but this year's test, I think, will be a good starting point. The class of 2023, you saw some of them today. They're a very resilient group, and they'll make us very proud. And Chris and I will be handing out diplomas a week from tonight.
You're pronouncing names, and I'm handing out
whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You're the boss, so that works for me. So we'll be doing that. And speaking of making us proud, this is the Salina Side Top 100. I circled BV, Spreckels alum, and we feed them about 13 to 15% of their kids. I think I did the math right. This is a lot more than that. So every grade level starts with the BV alum, and we're very proud of our what they do. So as a community, we're preparing kids for success, and it's nice. I'll pass that to you guys if you want to see it. So to our BV grads out there, congratulations. As we wind down, now we're finalizing summer school plans. Teresa and I will be sharing the principal duties. We were able to hire all of our own teachers, which is great, -1, and we're going to support that person. Class size is between like 10 and 13 for the most part. We're piloting a new research-based program that we're excited about. It should give us some really rich pre-post data, so we'll take a look at that. And we are offering transportation, yay. So thank you to Heather for making that happen, because that was a piece that was missing last year, making sure the right kids got there. I'm happy to announce we filled the 3 management positions, and we're inviting them on the 22nd to meet the board and meet the community. So if the community wants to see the new middle school principal, our CBO, and our new facility manager, 9 o'clock on the 22nd. Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's the date. And other than that, just have a great summer, everybody, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. And for the last time, Principal Kate, representing Buena Vista Middle School.
So we are on the home stretch, obviously. We've had a lot going on in the last month. Our student leadership that was here tonight, they didn't talk about all of the different things they've done this last month. They did a spirit week. They did a student versus staff game of soccer, which we did not do too well in. The students dominated us, but it was fun to see. We have to let them have one every once in a while. But they did a whole series of homeroom competitions leading up to it. They've really taken off with student leadership and getting students participating in different activities throughout the year. Had a spirit week, and then tomorrow we do have our first rally since pre-COVID, which is fantastic. And it is in our gym, which we just had striped. That looks phenomenal and has had enough wait time that we can go in there. But things are wrapping up, looking really good. Finishing up state testing. Today was the last day. We start doing some makeups tomorrow and then a few additional days next week to catch everybody. And then next week is big for our 8th grade. We have our promotion ceremony on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Anybody's welcome to attend. This year, we're also just opening it up. The more, the merrier. We have opened it up so that after the last row of seating, if you want to bring lawn chairs and have your extended family come, bring them. So we just want everybody celebrating these grads. They've been through a lot, flood evacuations, fire, COVID, everything pretty much. So they're resilient and they're a strong group. So looking forward to recognizing them. And our Bobcat Club is going above and beyond by hosting the 8th grade dance later that night. They also do all of the decorations for it. So yeah, we're moving forward with a lot of fun activities. Big shout out to my teachers for keeping all of the students engaged and working really hard throughout these last couple of weeks. Once you hit the honor roll trip, which happened a few weeks back, and you're in state test mode, the students smell the end of the year. They have done a fantastic job of keeping the kids motivated, working hard, and finding interesting ways to keep the year strong. So thank you to everybody. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm looking forward to bowing out right now. Unfortunately, I can't.
6 days.
But thank you so much. No, it's been a great 5 years, and I've learned a lot. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate. Eric, did you get any notes from?
I did. Teresa apologized she was out of town, but she did want me to pass out her last summer newsletter to you. Okay. It has a lot of important dates. I can kind of highlight a few. On Monday, they're going to do the annual color run, which is fun. So if you have a chance to stop by, the kids and the staff, I think, do a nice little jog, and then the parents douse them with, I think, colored chalk or some colored something. It's very cool. So that is on Monday. Thanks to the PTO for buying the T-shirts and just sponsoring that event. The kinder performance and picnic is on Tuesday. That's always fun if you have a chance to watch that. And Wednesday is the 5th grade promotion, right? Mm-hmm. And there's 2 sections. There's one at 9, one at 11:30. And so I'll try to catch both of those. But the 5th graders I hear are acting like middle schoolers right now. So they need to be promoted and cross the river. So, which makes sure, because the 8th graders are acting like 9th graders too. So. And that's it for Spreckels.
Okay. Thanks. We already had the foundation. Mm-hmm. Anybody want to talk about PTO or Bobcat Club? Nope. Okay. Well, let's move on to business. Veronica, fund balance report.
All right. Starting on page 9, this is the 11th of 12 months. You can see in the middle under actual section of the report, we have an operating surplus of $423,000. There will be 1 more month of encumbrances, and then we'll start the annual close process. We should know in September how accurate we are with our budget to actuals. But cash is flowing well right now.
Okay.
If you ever have a specific question, you've got about 30 days to ask me.
If we ever have one.
Yes.
Okay, I see that we got several action items about facilities things coming up. Is there anything else in terms of the program update?
No, that's a standing agenda item, but I would like to save the detail of the report because I have a summary that I'm going to show in the presentation before we get into the individual items that are actionable under administration, because it was coming off the facilities committee.
Okay.
Not much happening in food service. They're just trying to wrap up the end of the year, and same with transportation. The field trips have been quite challenging, and Heather's done an incredible job of facilitating all the requests and still getting our home to school transportation program taken care of as well. But 7 more days? 6 more days. 5 more days.
Okay, class, when are we inserting this next topic? Not yet, right?
Not
Okay.
yet, yeah. not
Okay,
till
class
administration.
configuration, can you poke me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you-
So this is activity through Thursday, May 25th. So we've had about another week of registration. They are kind of slowing down just based on foot traffic here in the district office. But let's go to the summary page. You can see that we are steadily coming up. We're currently at 904. We're still trailing behind what our October Seabeds Day was last year, which was 918. So we need to get to that number to stay out of a continuing declining enrollment. I think Eric has reviewed potential interdistricts, and we've taken
We've captured
all
them where we have room, right?
yeah.
And this does, as Mrs. Jansen mentioned, it for the first time it shows second, third, and fourth with 3 classes. And so I asked Teresa, realizing we have decline enrollment, we have to make some tough decisions. Ask your staff, is it combo classes that are lower, or is it no combos with higher class sizes? And it was overwhelming. I mean, obviously the answer is low classes, no combos, but that's really not a reality right now. And so from the teachers and Teresa, this was definitely their preference given the 2. And it is. It's in second and third grade, it's higher than we're used to. At fourth grade, this is the number we actually target. We haven't been there a few years just because of the flow of kids there. But fourth grade through 8th grade should be at 29-1. That's what the state guideline is, and that's what we budget for. This is a moving target, and but when Veronica gets to the budget, she'll kind of share just the relationship between declining enrollment and hard decisions, basically. And this is an example of that.
So since you raised Mrs. Jansen, how about the aides? Are there going to be?
Yeah, to skip to the LCAP, we're adding another aid, an intervention aid, and Teresa could very well target the second and third grade with that aid. That would probably be a smart move. I don't want to assume that, but we have an extra aid, and again, it's ironic. We're talking about lack of funds, but we have supplemental funds, which is for the unduplicated. So we have money to spend there, but I guess the magic would be using those supplemental funds to target the unduplicated and the other kids at the same time.
Okay.
So,
Okay, understood. Thank you. Quarterly. Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were poking me about something else.
So a couple of things. Well, first off, I know from the parent survey that one of the top priorities was maintaining low class sizes. So that's understandably going to be an issue. I know last month and the previous months we've had the 4 classes. Sorry, could we go back to Spreckels? So
it's coming. There's a lag time.
Our new technology. So we've had the 4 classes and they've been smaller.
Right.
So why now are we changing it? Because we're not getting the numbers that we thought, or I mean,
we're trying to balance the budget basically, and those class sizes, we always just load them at 444, and even like, for example, the TK was in 1 class up until this time, and then when the real numbers come in, then you say, okay, you divide by 4, divide by 3, what works? And we had natural attrition this year, so we didn't have to lay off anybody, but to get to a balanced budget, and again, when Veronica shows that, the declining enrollment, we had to make tough choices. We lost a teacher at BV, and we lost 2 at Spreckels without laying off, again, using natural attrition. And we haven't laid off in, ever. And, just it's tough choices. It's not what we want to do. I get it. We went 25-1 in second and third grade, but the alternative is to have a negative budget, correct?
That is the alternative.
and we can't go into reserves for
ongoing
something
money?
from ongoing money.
Oh,
It's a very dangerous practice. I would never recommend paying for anything that eats out of the reserve.
I think that's the MSU's guidance too, right? The ongoing
Well,
funds.
it'll put you in fiscal distress, and then you'll be put in fiscal oversight, and then ultimately, if you continue to ignore it, you will be taken over by the state. I mean, I'm jumping off the ledge,
Yeah.
but
I mean-
you know, in the sake of for the sake of disclosure, you need to know that is the consequence. You will lose all your governance authority if you don't maintain a balanced budget.
So where are we in terms of final numbers? I mean, I know that we won't know until the end. Is there still some wiggle here, or is
There's plenty of wiggle, and that's let's this, like Eric said, this is a moving target. This is a snapshot as of the 25th of May.
Yeah.
So when we get to the presentation of the budget, I have 2 slides. They're very simple.
Okay.
I think we can look at those, and that will talk to exactly what you're speaking of.
Okay, so let's go back to it.
But the question of the question was, can we use reserves? Of course, you can do what you choose, but I would never recommend it.
Okay. All right, can we? No, I'm saying.
Yeah,
are
no,
you
I'm
okay?
good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, thank you.
What's staff? What's the risk of opening up an additional section? Hear me out for those. It's just second and third, right? To get those down to a number that's more palatable, instructionally, with the hopes that we get more interdistricts to fill those spots and generate the ADA.
The inner districts right now, I've accepted the open grades. That was kindergarten, TK. That was 7th grade. That was 5th grade, a few. That was 6th grade, a few. I've held 2nd and 3rd grade knowing this scenario because I didn't want to put it into 30-31. In a perfect world, we'd have 10 inner districts for 2nd grade show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that would pay for itself. But that's not how, I don't see it coming. We only have 1 or 2 in that grade level in the last few months.
Do you think that's because folks think there's folks on the outside looking in, think there's no room, so they're not trying to come? Or is this
historical trend?
Or you would already see that
Historical trend.
interest by now?
Yes, it's a historical trend. We get a lot in kindergarten, we get a lot in 7th grade, and the other ones are very unpredictable. But we never get, I don't want to speak definitively, but we could bring a registrar, but no more than 4 or 5 per 2nd or 3rd, 4th grade. Those are rare because they've already started somewhere.
Yeah.
Usually get somebody starts in kindergarten, they stay until 5th grade or 6th grade unless there's a problem, right?
Okay. Our reserve is decent. I realize there's an agenda item later that could impact that somewhat. Will impact it for sure. How much? Well, hopefully we'll find that out. Should we take action on that? What if we go ahead and open up those 2 sections, staff it, recognizing there's a risk that we won't fill all those seats to make it, break even for 1 year, right? We're year to year on budgeting, and we eat into the reserve, take something off the assigned reserves for the 1 year. And if it looks like we can't maintain that commitment from the community outside the district of returning by the Ides of March process, then we just have a layoff procedure.
Okay, so Veronica, is the budget presentation that you're going to do start to address some of those questions that he's got, or would that be a place for?
I think that'd be a great place
Okay.
because I think we could look more specifically at what the impacts of some of those decisions might be.
Okay.
You could hire temps because of the nature of their credentialing. It's late in the hiring season. You're probably going to get temps anyway, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Temps could be interns that are paid to, someone that's with a credential mismatch or whatever, or someone that only wants to be a temp too. You might have somebody in that situation, like a military spouse with a teaching credential that might be in the area.
It's definitely an option.
But if you are staffing it or have to staff it with probationary ones, if it looks like we're not going to maintain that enrollment and we didn't get those folks coming in through the process, then we go ahead and effect a layoff, through the process, when we get there after January, start that process.
Okay.
For those two staff positions. It's an idea.
It's definitely an idea.
And,
So,
and
Steve, let's hang on to the idea.
Yeah.
Let's do the budget presentation so that I have a better sense of those numbers.
Yeah.
And then if we want to make a recommendation that they come back with something, an investigation of that, then we can do that. at that
Sure.
point. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
You won't have to do layoffs.
So where are we at?
Just keep going.
Quarterly treasurer's report.
It's routine in nature. This is the third quarter of the
Right.
fiscal year. Just telling you how the county office is investing our cash. I'm sorry. The county of Monterey, not the county office.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on that.
Right. Okay. Any questions for anybody? Okay. Go ahead with the local or the LCAP.
So, first of all, big thank you to our stakeholders committee / I guess it's supposed to be called the Educational Partners Committee now. That's the new terminology. So it's made up of administrators, certificated, classified, a lot of parents, including a couple people here tonight. And we still have 5 goals that we're presenting, but we have quite a few new actions that I'll kind of highlight, and I can answer questions about any detail you want. We are purchasing a new social emotional curriculum for Spreckels Elementary School. That counselor has chosen that. So this year was the exploratory year. Middle school actually found one and implemented it. Next year, the elementary school would do that. Things like friendship, things like study habits, things like how do you deal with bullying. Those are the types of things that are in this curriculum. A new aid that we mentioned is being recommended. That's goal 2, and that's coming from our supplemental funding. An idea would be to focus on those grade levels. That's another possible conversation piece of looking at the different options. We have 2 new expanded partnerships, one with CSUMB Reading Center. We did that this year for 15 kids. We're going to try to expand that to 30 next year. English learners, but also could be low income as well, unduplicated. The logistics to go into 30 is something we have to talk to Dr. Ross about. Some might have to be in person, some might have to be remote. And also, we were trying to work out a partnership with First Tee, and we're going back and forth, and that would be a great partnership as well.
Can you tell me a little bit more about First Tee?
First Tee of Monterey Peninsula is it's a golfing organization, but they teach life skills, they teach character building skills, and they have a facility, I guess, northeast.
Over off Constitution.
And they're growing their facilities. Actually, I think usually when we
Twin
vote,
Creeks Golf Course.
right, when we vote on the different nonprofits,
Yeah.
usually I think their selling price, they touch more youth in Monterey than any other. Fact check me, but I think that's the case. So we could provide tuition, have those kids go there, or I've talked to them about actually coming here, and they could set up their stations. And I went to watch it one day. It's very cool. They have like 4 or 5 different stations. One might be the topic might be, aiming or hitting it at the flag, but they take it to the next level. What does it mean to set a goal aiming at something? So they use that physical. They're learning golf, be honest, right? And so that's it's about. So.
Okay, thanks.
And they'd be happy to make a presentation. They've offered that too. We are partnering with parent groups to make field trips more affordable. So the idea was that the district and the parent groups would kind of go 50-50 on that. The PTO tends to have more money in there. So the K-5, I think we solved that, and Buena Vista has a different nature. So I think for K-5, we have solved that. Middle school might continue the way it is for a couple more years, but again, it's just different funding and different budgets. Another action is implementing the recommendations of the Equity Task Force. Specifically, we spent the year building what's called the Equity Lens, but really trying to target where we need to focus our time and what subgroups really need our immediate help. And what we, as a group, what we decided was through the data was that we're going to look at our unduplicated students, specifically our English learners and our low income, but also our students with disabilities, especially with the chronic absenteeism rates. They're much higher than other groups. So 3 or 4 people are going on. Tammy, you're one of them, right? On Monday and Tuesday, there's a multi-tiered support system data gathering 2-day symposium. We're sending a team there, and then from there, we're going to dive deep and try to figure out, different strategies to kind of address that. Chronic absenteeism is post-pandemic, it's affecting all subgroups, but really the most vulnerable.
What percentage of our student population are you talking about?
13 to 14% overall, but in some of those groups, 20. So 1 out of 5 kids is absent. Chronic absenteeism by definition is 10% of the year, so 18 or more days. So we have some 25, 30, 35, and that's a lot of things going on. And there's a lot of reasons for being chronically absent, but so idea would be to do some interviews for those groups, figure out what support systems, if it's transportation, we could help there. If it's after school care for kids, there's a million reasons why kids couldn't get to school. So it's not a one Band-Aid kind of thing.
Yeah, but I didn't realize it was that high.
It's a lot higher. Yeah. Remember back when it first started, it was like 6.9 when it all started. We had that's what started the conversation, and now we're double that. We also are going to fully implement TK by 24-25. Next year, we've added on the next 3 months, and then finally every 4th grader would be in a TK program.
4-year-old?
4-year. Oh, I'm 5. The kids will turn 5. So this year, what were the new? Do you remember?
You just said 4th grade.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4-year-olds.
Yeah,
Every 4-year-old will be able to go to TK. They've done it in spans of 3 months, so we could adjust our facilities and our staffing. So this year was up till February. Will be the next 3 months, and then the following was every 4-year-old. I did say 4th grader. Yeah, it kind of felt like 4th grade. And then goal 5, you'll see various facility improvements and planning projects that a lot of them you'll see as action items tonight. And this has been sent already to the MCOE. They need to do their review, and we also sent it to the SELPA for a special ed review. And so hopefully we'll get that feedback ideally by the 15th or 16th, so it can be incorporated into the next round. If not, we do it after.
Yeah.
Any questions about other LCAP items?
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice cover, but there was a lot in it.
There's a lot in there. There is a lot of, it was a 3-year plan when we started, so there's a lot of repeat actions, but I wanted to kind of highlight the new ones.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, now what?
Oh, I have some questions.
Okay.
I'll give you the look.
Okay.
It's the look.
Well, you're giving me the look. So go ahead. What are your questions?
Okay, so a couple things. I saw a lot of new things on there. It looked great, really exciting, like to see some of those things. I know I heard from both locations when we met with the teachers about the PD opportunities, and so and I saw that in there several times. But will they have the opportunity to kind of choose from a list of approved trainings what reflects like their needs?
Probably. So we actually
There's gonna be a committee, right?
We reconvened. We met twice, and I want to thank you, Brianna, again. That's her wheelhouse. PD. Who thought of it? Tech coordinator or tech director does PD too. So we've actually met twice. We've in the process of identifying different areas that are funded. We're talking about one perhaps being a menu like that. We have 4-day full days, and so it's a lot to get done. But we are working on that or an asynchronous one that they would like. So yes, and there should be a PD plan coming soon. We've kind of outlined the first trimester. What I did is to do a theme per trimester. That was Brianna's idea.
Great. And then I noticed, and you talked about the ELD students and the students with disabilities as being kind of the target audiences for learning more about the reasons behind the chronic absenteeism, which reflects what we talked about in the equity committee. Right. But in the LCAP plan, I didn't see the ELD. I saw the students with disabilities. Were the ELD like in their own goal that talked about...
Talking about the equity committee? Or the task force?
About the chronic absenteeism and focusing more on...
I could take a look. I was borrowing the language that we did with Dr. Nunez, and I don't know if we targeted 3 groups or was it just students with disabilities. So I'll go back. For the task force...
Right, and I thought maybe that the LCAP committee had decided specifically just to focus on students with disabilities.
I was trying to honor the equity committee, but I might have missed out. So
okay, I thought it was both.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. Okay. I mean, there was a lot. We did a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The conversation. Do you remember?
If I remember correctly, we went into the conversation anticipating that we were going to target students with special needs, and then broadened our
Okay. And so I'll try to capture that language by the 22nd.
Perfect. And then I promise it's actually a very short list.
This is the time.
Goal 3, again, I think it was around staff. I'm wondering if, and I know a lot of us have talked about this, exit interviews, especially knowing that we, every, year and each site we're having people leave, if we can have that as a piece, so as a tool for retention.
Yeah, it's
to understand why people might be leaving. Is it something we can do, or is it
You're
just
talking
something?
about teachers and staff. Right?
Yeah.
It's goal 3, action 3. I don't know if we necessarily have to write exit interviews in there, but that could be part of that. So it reads now: improve employee retention by offering competitive compensation and providing opportunities for professional growth. That could include something about that. Sure. It ties right to that.
Monica, is that part of the exiting process? So
It's not formal, but you've been starting to do that a little bit, right?
Started one, yeah, we have one that we're hopefully gonna roll out, so.
Okay.
Yeah, in the works.
Yep.
Thank you.
Kate's gonna do the first one.
3 kids had to resign. Easy.
And then goal 5, I'll just share this. It might be relevant to agenda items later, but the facility, the around the facilities and the facility, the plan. I'm just wondering, we're hiring a new facilities manager. Is that something that they might be able to do within their, position description of putting together a plan? I know there's more components to what's coming towards us, but that initial, this is some of the needs, some of the priorities, this is what we might be envisioning for the future. We're paying this person, so what?
Right. He'll be part of that process for sure. But I think we need to have a larger, a consulting firm guide us through. We're talking about aging the buildings, finding our bonding capacity.
Well,
So,
the bonding and all that, yeah, it's definitely gonna be out
but
there.
he definitely, in the interviews, we talked about him being part of that process. So, yes.
And certainly leading those bond
Yeah.
efforts.
Thank you.
Okay. Budget.
All right, so this slide is just a very quick visual of the impact of declining enrollment. And if you look at the top row where it says LCFF revenue, that is our major source of revenue. And in the current year, we're bringing in $9.7 million. And the COLA projected for 23-24, the first, what we call the budget year, because of the impact of declining enrollment, though the COLA is 8.22, we're only funding at 3.64. And if you look at the third row where it says funded ADA with actual ADA difference, you can see that in 23-24, we're getting the benefit of the rolling average. We're being funded at 902.76, but our actual ADA is 867.14. That reflects what's really happening in the current year. And I left that as a flat number all across the 4 years you see there, with the hope that we at least maintain. And if you go back to that class configuration report where it was showing we're at 904, we need to hit at least 918 to be maintaining. 919 gets us out of that declining enrollment, and then we get to continue using the benefit of the rolling average. Because if you look at 25-26, I know it's 3 years out, but without a change in enrollment, the benefit of the rolling average diminishes, and now we're only getting the benefit of 3.96 additional ADA as opposed to, in the current year, 67. And at over $11,000 per ADA, that is significant revenue.
Right.
So you can see that we're going from a 9.7 to a 10,200,000. Well, that feels like a lot of money, like that's really great. But then the first subsequent year after the budget year, it's $150 difference. And in the third budget year, it's what, $300 difference? So that's the part of our revenue that picks up step and column for those who continue to work with us and advance either on their steps or longevity, their years of service with us. That's the money that picks up statutory increases, whether it's our workers' comp rate, whether it's PERS and STIRS, the retirement rate. So there has to be some recognition of the impact of declining enrollment, because you cannot sustain paying for statutory requirements without growth or without program reduction.
Mm-hmm. Veronica,
So, yes.
This is assuming that we hit the same attendance through this period, right? I mean, that we
Correct.
keep that level. And
yes.
if we were to drop further, then we would see each of these drop
Well,
1 year out.
Correct. If we were, yes.
Yeah.
If we don't hit, I mean, we're at 904 at June, and again, 918 is that sweet spot. I'm confident that we could get there. That's not as scary as if we were at like 875. But that's just a very quick. Take that information, and now let's just look at revenues and expenditures. So in 2023-24, our total revenues, including the LCFF, which is the base, the biggest form, along with state, federal, other, all the little pockets of money, we're looking at $12.6 million. The total expenditures, as we have set now in the budget, including the reduction of the 2 positions at Spreckels School, is 12.5. So we have a net increase of $101,000. That's not much, but that's a positive adopted budget. Using the same assumptions moving forward, that there will be no growth, that we will pick up the statutory increases, we'll pick up the health and welfare, the step and column. We'll recognize the drop in revenue because we're losing the advantage of that averaging ADA because we're not growing. In year 2, the budget is in deficit $431,000. By year 3, it's $318,000. So the impact to the ending fund balance, you can see it very clearly. It goes from 5.5 to 5.07 to 4.75. So in terms of adding 2 positions now, coming out of the reserve, each certificated position averages to about $100,000 if they come in at the highest they could earn, meaning they had 10 years of experience and they needed family, health, and welfare. It's about $100,000.
Yep.
So again, this is a snapshot, the adopted budget that's in the document that we're presenting as a draft today. We'll do a little finessing before we bring it back for you to adopt on June 22nd with whatever direction y'all may give today. But there are 3 major assumptions that are yet to be determined. One is that the state has not adopted the budget. This is all based on the governor's proposal that was released in the May revise. There's negotiations going on in Sacramento. If all of these reductions that he's actually proposing hold, that could change our revenue outlook. We don't know what final enrollment is. And we don't know what final hiring looks like because we have a very long list of vacancies. And with the exception of the 2 FTE at Spreckels School and 1 at Buena Vista, all the other vacancies are built into the budget, again, at the highest cost they could come in at, which is column 6, 10 years of service, the $100,000 cost. And in all the years we've done hiring, we always budget at that level, and it never is actualized at that level. There will be some savings. We just don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
So those 3 unknown assumptions make it comfortable for me to present a budget that is positive in the first year, but deficit spending in the 2 out years. But that will definitely trigger the oversight of the county to say, what's your plan in year 2 and 3 to address this deficit? And your plan could be blow through the reserve. And they will say whatever they will say. But we just y'all will need to be prepared for that.
Veronica, just so we're all in the same place, tell me about the reserve. We made a motion to have it at a certain level, and where are we now?
So let me get to, back to,
While Veronica's looking at that, can I ask just a clarifying question? So, if we address chronic absenteeism and we increase the attendance rate of the students we have, will that improve?
Yeah, anytime
That'll increase the ADA, right?
Yeah, so, but right now, we're gonna finish the year at 94%. Is that about right, Veronica?
yeah.
So even with, we've never been over 96, so it's not gonna capture that much money. If we go from 94 to 95, which is a goal, we'll get some more money, yeah.
But it
it's
won't
not-
make up that
it's not gonna make
shortfall.
up that- yeah,
It's, yeah, it's insignificant to the shortfall. But it's valuable. It definitely has value.
Getting kids is still huge, but for all the reasons.
Oh, come on now. I'm trying to get back to the board packet. There's
Can you, out of your head, give us round numbers, not exact numbers?
I think this is important enough for me to just, if we can be patient, I think I want you to see it because actually, let me jump to it just like. I got it on window.
I bet you once Veronica leaves, we don't see purple graphs anymore.
Well, they're teaching me new templates all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll throw one in for all the time, so.
Right?
But it's not a template I pick out normally.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So now I should be able to get here. And let me get to page 184. All right, here's the reserve. So based on the budget that I just summarized with the revenues in and expenditures, we will be having an ending balance of 5.5 million, which is row 8. Then we have to recognize all the non-spendables, the restricted, the things that we can't use for, that they have compliance requirements for their use. We end up with a balance to substantiate of 4.3 million. Some of that has to be identified in terms of commitments. And then the bulk of the money, any money that's not in a substantiated described need, I just put in that line 39 facility repair. So that's what I consider to be sort of the mad money, emergency fund.
It's liquid. You can
Yeah.
you can easily dip into that, but it's part of our bottom line of the reserve.
Got it.
But our reserve is healthy at the moment. But your question was, the answer to your question is 10% currently.
Yeah.
State requires, was it 4 for a size district? Union district? Yeah.
You're talking about the reserve for economic uncertainty.
Well, we have to do that.
No. No, that is the 10%. That
Yeah,
was the
that's
guideline.
That's what he wanted.
Oh.
I think that's what you asked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He asked that. Well, you
I
probably
was
didn't hear him. It's
distracted.
okay.
Yes, 10% is the reserve for economic uncertainty by your own guideline, but the state requirement is 4%.
Okay.
That was
That
a
is
meeting
true.
we had earlier
Yeah.
in the budget process. I forget, a
Yeah.
couple months back, but we have to have 4.
Mm-hmm. And
But we
set ourselves
directed
a 10.
staff
Yeah.
to make it 10.
Right. That was all I wanted to know because I thought it was instructive
Which
to
we
the
can-
conversation we were going to
which
have.
we could
Mhm.
change if we choose to
Got
as a
it.
board. Okay.
A 10% is only how much of it? $500,000?
10%.
2.5 teachers.
No, I meant
No.
the dollar amount.
It's $750,000. It's right there.
But
line
if they're
30.
interns, it's probably more than enough money. Yeah, right?
I have a question about line 33, the toilet room replacement.
Yes.
We did that, right? Or are we doing another one?
No.
Do we
It's
still owe?
no. It's substantiated as a described need because it was not budgeted in the 22 current year budget. It was supported by the reserve. So until we close the year and get a new starting balance, because we always start with the beginning balance, and until 22-23 is closed, which will then revise whatever that number is, and all of the things that we have done will drop off because they've been paid for.
Encumbered, essentially.
So
Exactly.
he's interpreting my question. Your question is, didn't that project physically happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Many of these have. SCS on my Freckles, the bus camera installation.
I mean,
The
again, we have
bleacher
an agenda
inspection.
item later that could impact the reserve for sure.
But
But for the moment, about the risk of increasing staff by 2, one, they're not going to come in at supermax that they can get. At this point in the hiring season, I'd be shocked if that's how it panned out. 1. 2, you can always lay off if you can't afford them. Just follow the process because we're in declining enrollment. That's your justification. 3, I say it's something to consider to try to open up 2 more sections, 1 in each of those 2 grades. Class size matters. I had a superintendent once tell me it didn't, but I looked at him sideways and said, "You're out of your mind. Class size does matter, especially in the elementary grades."
and especially at that second grade level.
You bet.
I-
And just it's something to consider. Hey, if we don't fill the seats with inter-district transfers, and we don't see things tick up with ADA, then we affect layoff, and then next budget cycle, sorry community, but we tried it for 1 year, but now we're in a pickle. We did take a risk. We ate the reserve a little bit, right? But I think it's worthy of, at least as a board, considering. It's an idea.
Yeah. And to make that real, it would be useful to me to be dealing with something that looks
Just
like a
know that if
real
it doesn't
set of
pan out,
projections. Yeah.
will be those grades as they move, as they wash through the subsequent year and they loop up to the next grade. We're probably looking at higher class size, in year Y. We're talking about year X, but in year Y, because we did an experiment, we ate it in the reserve a little bit, but we're not. Well, the board can decide at that time we're not going to do that again, or maybe we will, but I doubt it, right? But it's an idea.
Yeah.
To make those grades a little more palatable for staff, the kids, instruction, and the community, stakeholders.
Yeah. So we're requesting that you,
Come back with.
yeah.
It's an idea.
The directions to come back with what in second and third grade, using the reserves.
So if I could just intervene before you give that direction.
Before we spend your money, our money.
It is your money and it is my money as a taxpayer.
That's
So
right.
It's all of our money.
That's
So
right. We're revenue limit, so it's the whole state's money.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. If somebody has a calculator, I mean, I can pull mine up on my computer, and I think I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you're gonna need to bear with me because this is important. So we have currently 87 in second grade.
Say
Is
again?
that right?
What's that?
87 is projected in second grade. If you add a 4th teacher, 87 divided by 4, you're looking at classes as of 21.
If we don't get more coming in, yeah.
There's like 2 waiting, so you'd add 2 to that, but still you're looking at 21, 22. So they'd be very low,
Mm-hmm.
which is better than very high.
Which will be nice
So,
for some,
so
for those groups, for those year groups. Yeah.
well, it will be 2 maybe happy people that might get the job, but you're gonna.
It'll be more than 2 happy people. It'll be parents too.
Steve, put on your negotiator hat. This is no augmentation.
I have my trustee hat on.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead.
Because with an 8.2% COLA,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're gonna be coming from. So how are you gonna fund that?
Let's eat the reserve a little bit for 1 year. Try it out. See if we can generate. It's an idea, and I appreciate your fiscal prudence. But also, I'm concerned about instruction. It's a.
Is there a compromise? How about a combo class? How about we hire 1 teacher?
Combos are not popular, that's for sure.
No, but maybe we're using this direction to come back.
Yeah.
How about come back with option A, option B, and let us decide that.
Well, it can't be done that way unless we have another meeting, because we have to adopt a budget that is in SACS form that we're sending to the county. And it's okay if it's deficit all 3 years, but we need to also have the plan ready, because
They're gonna
it
call us
will
out on it.
it will be a whole nother project of addressing that.
So later on, other items go into the reserve, right?
Those items are one-time items. Those
know.
facility items, that's
But he's talking
completely
about
different.
past one-time items too.
It's coming from the reserve.
No, he's talking about funding 2 positions.
Temporarily
Temp-
for a year, right?
Yeah.
But later on in this meeting, we're talking about facilities.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is we're talking about the reserve. This is part of the same conversation. It might be this versus this.
It could be. It could be. It could be. Yeah, it's an option.
Now,
I don't see how we're supposed, if we're talking about this here right now, giving direction right now, how can we do that when we all know that we have something else that also is gonna possibly impact the same
Bucket of money.
bucket of money?
And that's my point. There's gonna be other things, including
Yeah.
painting and things like that. So the painting that we're gonna recommend too, same bucket of money.
For the moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a break. This is just not.
She's behaving as she should about
It's
this.
not.
topic.
And just for the record.
That's another part. It's a good part.
Yeah. Or what I call the hiring doldrums.
Traditionally, multiple subjects is our easiest to fill, and we've had the least amount of bites. And it's very difficult to find teachers in the teacher shortage. So realistically, from an HR perspective, do you think the candidate pool has them out there?
Yeah. Another question.
I don't know what I can even say.
It's a variable.
but I would say, I think for the benefit of, to give our kids what's best is this, because we have, it's the higher class sizes, and if that's what our teachers have agreed to, which I understand they have,
Given the choice between the two.
giving the
that
choice
combo.
between the two. It is so hard right now to find qualified teachers. I'm going through transcripts, trying to find 30 teachers that we have great subs, but a lot of them just want to do subs. They're
Yeah.
retired teachers. That's all they want to do. They don't want to come back and teach full time. And not only that, but to go through the transcripts and get the pips and get the stips. And I'm sorry, but
No, it
from a
doesn't.
human resources perspective, I am honest with our subs, and I tell them, you only have one chance to use these pips and stips, so you better be sure you want to
Get your
be a
stuff
teacher.
done, yeah.
Because once I apply for this for you, you can never have this again later on in your career. So I apply for multi-subject, and you want to go into science, and then you want to go into math, and you're not going to have that opportunity again. So yes, it does put us in a bind, and
Yeah. And because this is June, we have to approve a budget. If we were to want to consider and see what that other option looks like, then we would probably need to have an emergency meeting in a couple weeks to look at option A, option B.
But even at the higher class size, which the teachers have said that's the direction they want to go, we still don't have enough teachers to do that. Is that accurate
No.
also?
So right now we're trying to hire one.
one.
And
So that's why it's great, you know.
Plus
it's-
two.
It's great that it's
Yeah, only one.
One
Yeah,
at-
it's
one-
great. You only
one
need
at this
one
site.
here.
Frank, one
At
at this
the-
site, but we need more
yeah.
across the river.
At the middle, we have 5, but you can have a multiple subject strength with the middle school as well, and we're finding that multiple subject strength is difficult to fill. Yeah. Traditionally, the single subject has always been our top position.
Any teacher's hard to find right now.
Teachers are just tough right now.
And the teachers have agreed to this as a comparison to the combo classes. It's
Yeah.
not that
Right.
they've agreed to
Yeah.
this compared to a 21 to 1.
Their
No.
first choice was
Yeah. sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Their
I mean,
first
just to
choice-
clarify, I'm sure that's what
Clarify,
they
their
would
first
rather
choice
have.
is lower the class
Yeah.
sizes without combos.
Right.
That's a no-brainer. But between the two scenarios, they prefer this over combos.
But
Over
hiring an aide or two, I know what that's going to look like too.
We've built one aid into the budget.
That
We've-
doesn't exist yet, right? They haven't been hired.
No, but the the expenditures accounted for.
But that's an intervention.
That's coming from supplemental. But.
My point is that aides are notoriously high turnover, even if you can fill them, because of the salary and benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
We found it came from the
Not
supplemental.
necessarily the case at our district. We have some very long-term aides that have been here for a long
But
time.
we took out the supplemental, which is a different pot of money, is what we're talking about too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Correct. But I also believe that if the focus is on what those if we go back to Molly's statement about first and second graders and the years they missed, and they are the ones in possible need of intervention, or I don't know. I don't know what the population is even experiencing. I just.
Well, I appreciate having a robust conversation about it.
No,
I think it's a very healthy conversation because, unfortunately, this might not be the worst year. Right?
This is before next
you might
year.
Be right.
And we need to start throw all the options out there.
Yeah, because you might need to go back and look at next 24, 25 when this is before we're adding folks. You know, we've got
another.
And it's also worse. It's not worst case. It's current case scenario. It's before state budget. It's before final hiring.
Right.
It's before final enrollment.
Yeah.
And
so,
since we're throwing just brainstorming here, that first T contract, which would be nice, we could reallocate that for a second aid. So there could always be an intervention aid per grade level.
Yeah.
Again, just an idea.
Yeah, and assuming Teresa goes for that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not going to presume to know who's going to be assigned these sections of 29 at those grade levels.
Yeah.
I don't know who's who as far as experience goes in the bargaining unit.
Yeah.
But if we could somehow find a way to incentivize our most experienced classroom managers, instructional delivery type folks in STA to take on those roles with some sort of incentive, I think that could help mitigate concerns that folks have with class sizes that high.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I hear you.
Okay.
It almost makes sense.
we
to
have
that
class
meeting
size.
with Teresa here.
Yeah,
before the
we have a
22nd.
stipend. We have language in the bargaining. There is a monetary incentive.
Assuming it's enough, I don't know.
No, and that's there could be a conversation about increasing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you'd have to take to them.
Yeah. So what's the board's pleasure? Do we want to ask for
A revision or
not? Analysis and then meet again in two weeks to look at those?
I'm available.
I feel like there needs to be a
think
motion
I'm
here, but I guess
available.
it's not really.
It's just direction.
Yeah.
It's information.
My dad needs a
Yeah.
triple bypass, and he's in line, and I might have to go help out.
Frank, Peter?
I am tentatively available in 2 weeks.
Who said, did Peter say you were available? Okay, Frank?
So now what we're trying to say is we're going to meet in 2 weeks to have a special board meeting to do what?
To talk about the budget with kinds of revisions.
we already have
on
a
the 22nd,
special
the
on
one
the
that's
22nd.
scheduled, we have to come back with a firm budget that you approve.
adopted,
Yeah.
We're talking about another meeting in between.
Okay, so we need to kind of count backwards from the 21st, or the 22nd, when our next meeting is.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause there has to be some time to.
And it could be literally one or two items on that meeting's
Yeah.
agenda, which,
Specials usually are single.
yeah.
Just go backwards. Our next meeting that's already booked is the 22nd,
Right.
right?
9 a.m.
So then legally, what are our date options to have this other meeting, which I'm
72 hours.
Yeah, we need to announce it 72 hours before.
A special is 48 hours.
Huh?
Yeah.
A special is 48.
Specials 48. I mean, we can't have it in the next 2 business days.
Well, and you
After
should.
that,
We have a lot.
We also have.
Things to do. We're going to need time to do that option.
Or we could not do it at all. It's an idea.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. What's the board pleasure?
I'd like to do it. That's my
and
voice.
at that point, we would decide whether we're going to open up enrollment.
A class.
And
Open up add staff to the budget.
In the second grade level, yeah.
Remember what Monica said about hiring season. We've hit June.
Yeah, I think that hoping there's going to be a lot of kids in second and third grade in the next couple months. Just historical trends, that's not going to happen. There's a couple interdicts just right now in those 2 grade levels that if you decided to do that, we can bring those we can capture that. It's about 4 kids, but to think 10 or more are coming,
It's not realistic.
no.
Okay.
They've
Not realistic to get more kids, and if we got more kids, we need more teachers, is also unrealistic.
Staff is saying that. Staff is saying. I think you're not
I couldn't agree with you more. I just don't know what the outcome is, what you're looking for. I mean, it's do you use the reserve and hire more staff?
What I'm looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
No, if
If the students miraculously show up.
Well, we've got 29 in each class already, so we
Right,
start
so
pulling
if
from
the
each of those
students start
classes and
pulling
fill
up,
in the
then
new
we're
class.
forced to do something different. We don't have to have them.
Yeah, that's 15.
An hour of my time to potentially, see if this might be an option.
What
I
would be
think
an option? What's that
this.
option? What?
we're talking about.
That we would add another class, pull in 5 kids from each class. That gives us another 15, right? He says maybe 4 more.
Yeah, not 5. I mean, right now, I think on that.
there's 3 and 1.
I know, but
Eric.
I
There's
mean,
3.
even that is round numbers.
There might be 4 in second and third grade that we can capture.
We're hearing staff say that
It's 4.
it's unlikely that we will get more than that, so that we have another class to fund at 25.
You have 4 on the waiting list, Eric. You have
Yeah,
1
sorry, but-
first grader and 3 third graders.
Right, and that's assuming that those people we can make calls tomorrow to see if they're still interested, but that's assuming they still want to come.
There's an assumption.
So Frank's saying that it's unlikely, and you said that, you would like to have that meeting. Frank's saying he would not like to have
No,
that meeting.
I didn't say, I don't have an objection to another meeting. I was just making sure I was reiterating what we've all said 1,000 times, which is it's not likely to get more students, and it's not likely to get more teachers, and it's very unlikely that the moon and the sun and the stars are all gonna align together where we will get more students and more teachers. Therefore, that's all I'm saying.
So Steve's
Well,
comment about incentivizing those 2 grade levels and perhaps bringing
That's
another
more.
aid,
That's more doable.
that's doable.
If we can get our, if we can get our
Yeah.
most experienced
We could easily,
folks on staff to take those on, and somehow, through your work with the bargaining unit, it shows some sort of appreciation for those folks saying, "I'll do that work this year."
yeah,
That's more doable than
and another
what
aid.
Frank,
yeah.
quite frankly, succinctly described,
Right.
based upon what staff is
Because
telling
we're
us.
saying add it
Yeah.
as if.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly,
Okay.
pun
So-
intended. Yeah.
So is the direction it sounds like the last thing, the direction would be to bring back a budget in the 22nd with another aid. No, just add the aid instead of the first T.
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be an aid per grade level, perhaps 2 intervention aids.
Mm-hmm.
So can I propose something completely radical? Can we?
More than me?
Yes.
I'm
For the
listening.
sake of what is going on
Uh-huh.
in all of our, can we adopt a budget and on June 22nd as previously planned, understanding that within 45 days of the state adopting a budget, we will bring you a 45-day revision,
That's right.
which will capture the impact of the state decisions. It will capture the impact of final enrollment because school will have started by then. It will capture the impact of final hiring. And instead of redoing all of this, including the LCAP, that we accept the budget as presented with direction to add an additional aid to support the first and or second grade, depending on how Teresa sees it needing.
That was the only augmentation to that I was saying is
But
take
that doesn't need to be in the LCAP. You said change the LCAP, right?
Oh.
That doesn't necessarily.
No,
It could.
In my mind, using the money for first tier for that other aid is all I was thinking.
But that could also be part of revising all
Yeah.
of those documents
Yeah.
when we get to the
Whatever's-
state budget. Because doing this
Sure.
I
again,
haven't heard the radical part yet.
the radical is just like, let's do what we planned instead of like,
Oh, that's what's radical.
why are you laughing? Instead of just, yeah.
Well, that's radical.
It's just a plan.
I
It's a,
thought you were
it's a-
gonna come out with something
It's a
there.
spending plan. It's not etched in stone. I mean, we revise this thing 5 or 6 times a year, right?
If
But we need more
If we can do something
information.
with the bargaining to get the right people in those positions, that would be great. That's more realistic than anything.
Very
else.
much so.
Along with the aid support. Yeah.
So,
I don't think we need another meeting, but that's my opinion.
okay. Peter, what do you think? You haven't had a chance to.
No, I say we roll forward with Veronica's idea and.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing's gonna change down the road.
Okay, so
We
I'm
can call a
hearing.
July meeting if we want to, if we have more information.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely, and in fact, we can even give updates along the way. But we don't have to undo everything that we've done for a meeting within the next 2 weeks because
You and I have different definitions of radical, but okay. Thank you, though. I
Anti.
appreciate your work. Thank you.
Okay, Stephanie,
And
are
thank
you comfortable with that?
You helped.
No,
Doing a
but
motion?
I mean, I think if the families of these students were here right now, they would want to see us try different options. So I think I know there's a lot of different reasons to continue with this one, but I think those kids and those families and those teachers who were burning through teachers, and we know that nationwide we're burning through teachers, this has a potential to burn through more teachers by next year. So I liked the idea of potentially going a little bit into the reserves. That's why we have the money. The money is there. There's no point carrying $5 million for 20 years if you don't ever use it when you're in a bind. And this feels like a bind.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from the majority of the board is that we go ahead with this plan. We count on adjustments coming up, and we prioritize the addition of aides to those classes as needed, and we direct you to have that conversation with Teresa. And then,
And STA.
right, and then we will, adjust as we do with budgets as they go forward.
Well, we got a revision coming up anyways, 45
Yeah.
days. So it's automatic.
Yeah. Okay.
Already built in.
Okay, so that's what I'm hearing from, okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to public hearing?
We are.
Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn to public hearing? Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0-0. We are now in public hearing on the 23-24 local control accountability plan. Does anybody from the public want to say anything about it? Motion to adjourn from public hearing? Thank you, Frank. Second. Thank you, Peter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0-0. We are now out of.
Frank first.
Did you get ahead of me? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Nope. Jump.
Jump to.
Nope, 'cause
Yes,
we're
that's
going
because
right
there's
into
no-
curriculum. This
Oh.
has been moved.
Counselor.
Okay. So, curriculum.
None.
This has been moved down. Nothing, right? Anything in personnel that you need to talk to, we'll take on the action items. So, motion to approve the final read of the school counselor job description. Somebody want a motion? Give me a motion, please. Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Again, this was just aligned to our board policy. You've seen it before.
Okay.
It's what they do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. I need a motion to approve the 23-24 declaration of need for fully qualified educators. Thank you. Second? Okay. This is just procedural. We got to open this up every year. So, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Oh yeah, okay, so then the same motion for the 24-23 annual statement of need for 30-day substitutes, blah, blah, blah. Someone want to make the motion? Thank you. Second? Thank you, Peter. Again, routine. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0-0. Motion to approve the 23-24 management salary schedule with work year adjustment.
Motion to move it.
Thank you. Second? Okay.
This was related to the retirement change, Veronica, on the PERS.
Okay.
Correct.
Compliance with PERS.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Safety committee recommendation. Motion to approve the safety committee recommendation.
I'll motion to approve the safety committee.
Thank you. Second?
The county's, the Big Five is very similar to what we're doing, but the county's going to some universal language, so any first responder that comes speaking the same language. The Big Five has trained the trainers tomorrow that I'm going with one of our safety committee meetings members. The safety committee met twice. The first one was with the guy, Michael Kimball, who is kind of like the safety guru from here. He's also a parent. And he shared that this is kind of where people are going. So we would like to align our safety plans, our safety protocols with the county. So that's kind of, again, nothing's drastic. The terminology of Alice has been replaced by other similar language. So if you approve it, we'll continue getting training. We're going to roll it out. We already have a schedule to roll out the safety in the first couple of months of next year.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Motion to approve the facilities committee recommendation.
Did we? Is this I'm sorry. Is this where we changed the agenda?
Yeah, we can go ahead and motion and take a second, and then we can start the discussion because I have a summary.
But we're going to do the one about the roofing company.
Yeah, we'll start that one first.
That's okay.
We don't need to vote.
We moved it between 4 and 5 down below.
Okay.
So 4.5.
Okay.
What you're asking
That's
about,
what I
Eric?
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just had an arrow from earlier, so
No
I
worries.
threw it off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, someone want to move the facilities about the Noble Pride Roofing Company?
I'll move it.
Thank you. Second? Okay, now.
Okay, so we have a list of, at the last facilities committee meeting, we put together our list of priorities. So it starts with painting, and at Spreckels School, these are rough estimates that we had one of our partner contractors, he does Dilbeck and Sons, they do plenty of work for us. So he gave us a proposal to do Spreckels School, which includes the main building, the G-wing, exterior. This is all exterior. Rooms 20 and 22, which is the kinder rooms, which needs power washing only, and then the library building, also power washing only. That proposal came in at $190,000. Something at that rate needs a call to bidders. You have to go out for public bid. You can't just direct contract with someone because it's over the threshold, which is currently at about $109,000. And then at Buena Vista, we have 3 different sections. The first one being the pod library. You can see all the areas. They're all listed and the different prices. So in total, the painting projects come in at $492,000. Again, this is the facilities committee project list. The other part of it, which is the action that you just opened, is the gutter work. And so doing the Buena Vista only gutter repair, the pavilion, $11,300. The pods, they broke down to the A, B, and C pod. I'm sorry, that also includes the D-pod, I believe. Or actually, the D-pod is pretty recent. The E-pod I separated because the E-pod is the only permanent building over there, whereas the A, B, C pods are portables. So at the time we've gone back and forth, like, what do we invest in those portables? At some point we need to get rid of them. But is that going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years? Probably not with the political climate out there. I don't know that a bond measure would be successful. So anyway, the total gutter project is $68,000. So then I was also asked to show the impact to the ending fund balance for the facility repairs dollars. And if you remember the report that breaks down all the things in the reserve, under repair we had $2.4 million. The total committee recommendations equal $560,000, leaving a balance of $1.9 million. And then I included the change order to relocate the solar from the field to the play area, which came in at $245,000. So ending fund balance after the committee recommendations and the solar project relocation change order brings our facilities repair designation in the reserve to $1.6 million. So those three items are taking 32% of the facilities repair section of the reserve. And remember, that's a snapshot based on the beginning balance at the beginning of this year, all the things we did. It will be updated, revised after we close the books this year. And typically it grows slightly. We always want to be not burning through our reserve, but keeping it steady. So the reason that I thought we should see and discuss this before we go item by item, because I thought you might want to make some decisions based on whether you're ready to spend $560,000 of the reserve on facility projects, which I know you talked about using the reserve for people. My recommendation would always be to use the reserve for one-time projects and never people, but let us know and we'll start moving through. Okay, good. So any questions about this? We can start moving the items.
Okay, so can you just take 2, 3, and I guess 4? The total is about $500K.
Correct.
And then they break down here. So I guess we can just vote on them one at a time, but we'll vote on the 500K.
what I should recommend, or what I should share, is that the Noble Pride, which is item 2 and 3, which are specifically for the gutters, those are all within the threshold of direct source. We don't have to do a call to bidders, but anything related to the painting, that's the discussion. I wouldn't recommend approving the proposal from Dillbeck, but rather give direction to begin. I'd like to see the painting projects combined into one master project, because I think we can get a much better price if we do a call to bid and we say, look, we have.
Okay. Okay, so let's take 2 and 3 and get the gutters out of the way.
Okay.
Motion to approve Facilities Committee recommendation for the gutters for the pavilion. That's number 2. We've got that motion. Are we ready to vote on that?
Have number 2.
No. The motion's out there. We haven't voted on it
For number
yet.
2 only, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Is there a discussion? Or
yes.
question? Who's on the facilities committee?
Frank.
Oh,
Frank,
okay.
Veronica, me, the 2 principals, Mr. Dodd, and lead maintenance, Jaime.
So Frank, do you have any guidance or suggestions?
I'm going to recuse myself from the discussion. I missed the last meeting.
So no gutter talk for you then. Okay.
Thank you. Did you have a question?
Oh, they look terrible.
No, I just wondered if.
I mean, if you've been over there and seen them, they're just
having been in
pathetic.
there, had any recommendations?
We got to do something. Yeah. Although we got to address it.
I think we're being poor citizens of our community by
Not addressing
Not
it.
doing it.
I concur.
So
Okay. So let's go ahead and vote. You're going to recuse yourself from the vote too?
No.
Okay, right. Okay. Any other questions or discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Second gutter Motion is number 2. Somebody want to move that?
Number 3.
Number 3, I'm sorry.
Yep.
The classroom gutter repair. Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion necessary? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Motion number 3, let's get it out on the table. Will somebody move that?
You mean number 4?
Yeah, number 4, sorry.
Painting project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody move that so we can get it on the table. Thank you. Second? And then we have a recommendation from staff that we,
Bundle and put it out to bid.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that an amendment to this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's direction.
Direction.
How many bids will you get?
Well, we could get a bunch of bids. We'll have to publicly, it'll be posted in the newspaper. There's a protocol. We'll bring you the contract before we go to bid, and the whole thing will take a couple of months, but it will be a great first project for our new facilities manager, who's never done a call to bids in a public sector. So I'm going to walk him through. And
Painting project's a good way to start.
Okay.
it is a great place to start. Yeah. So
Okay, so you have direction on
thank
that.
you.
Now we're jumping back to.
Did we take the vote on that, though?
We don't need to take a vote on it because we've sent it out. We've given direction for them to do something, right?
Well, it's listed here as action to take the recommendation out to bid. Right? Isn't that the intent?
Yeah, we can do
We need this in the
action
minutes,
to
right, that we-
give
to get out-
direction.
okay.
Take
In order to get out to bid, we got to approve this motion that's on the table currently.
The motion to take it out for a bid?
Yeah, that's what number 4 is.
Yeah,
Take the
that's what I asked you,
recommendation.
and you said no. Okay.
You didn't ask me that.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask you.
I said clarify. I clarified that we're going to bundle it and get it out to bid and hopefully get a better price.
Okay.
I know.
All in favor of bundling it and get out for a better price?
Well, the motion's on the table. Yes, aye. Yeah.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0.
It's me.
Okay, now we're jumping back to the
Cycerco.
Solar.
Thank you.
4.5.
Somebody want to move this so we can get it on the table? Motion to approve Cicerco.
Circo, I guess.
Cicer.
Cicer.
Cycerco.
Okay.
Someone please move. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
So
Okay, guys.
at the last meeting, we had Sazerco come here. We asked them to come up with a plan B. This is their plan B. Often, well, a lot of it was driven by community comment about not putting on the field. We are under contract. They're done a lot of work so far. So this would, again, change the location, keep us moving forward, and I think appease the community. And I've heard nothing but positives about the relocation, personally.
We have the money to do it, as long as we don't hire people.
Frank, you want to
Don't hold that.
talk specifically
Okay, you get
about
one.
objections?
No, I don't object to
This?
I'm gonna definitely vote to spend $250,000 more than we already agreed to. I'm still hoping that we can figure out how to stop the entire project before we spend any more money. I'd rather, if we're going through with the project, I'd rather spend more money and have it on the pavement, not on the grass.
Okay.
That being said, I'd rather have the whole thing just kind of go away.
Okay.
And you might, if you were here at the last meeting or had a chance to watch it, the principal considered moving it from the turf to where this change order is it actually is a potential asset to the campus, the footprint in campus, because having that area covered at least is actually a benefit to the student body and to the facility. So I although it's more money to move it, it's actually an enhancement to the footprint of the physical plant. So I think that's a win in that respect.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready to vote on this motion?
I am.
I'm not asking you specifically, I'm asking generally. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Now we go back to
Number 5.
number 5. Oh, here we go.
The facilities committee's been busy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I've lost it.
California Financial Services, Specialized
Thank
Financial
you.
Services Agreement. Number 5.
You want to move that, Steve, since you just read it?
Yes, what I just said, I'll move that.
Okay. Thank you.
Greg, Greg.
So this is the firm
that will do that work on, well, the last time we did it was the last bond measure, and it was a facilities feasibility study. Some folks call them master plans. I don't think that we are in need for a master plan because we're not building in capacity. We're not adding schools. We're not adding classrooms. It's really, we're not increasing enrollment. So, but a feasibility assessment is valuable because not only does it date stamp the ages of our buildings, and we can see with their guidance and their support what kind of state funding we might be available for, because when portables specifically get to a certain age, their useful life is up and gone. You can qualify to some matching state funds, and then of course the biggest piece is a bonding measure, which we have to test bonding capacity, we have to survey the constituents, see what the temperature is out there. But it's a big lift, and it's definitely a project that needs to be supported with professionals. And this is one of the actions within the LCAP. And the first phase of the contract, which is that assessment, feasibility study, facilities master plan, whatever word you want to use to describe it, that cost has been recognized. If we were to actually go out into a bond measure, that's a secondary part of the contract that we would bring back at a later date, because once you figure out your bonding capacity, these types of specialized services, you start getting in bond counsel and underwriters, and they all get paid out of the bond measure, not the initial work.
Okay. Any questions? Discussion? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, regarding the facilities master plan, we actually have a policy which we approved, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. So, I mean, we do have a policy that we support in regards to a facilities master plan. So, I'm still confused as to why we continue to not follow that. But so this would be, I think this is $25,000, $35,000 for this piece that we're approving now, and then if that were to move forward in a potential bond action, that would be the additional, and that would be brought back. So we're not approving that at this point.
No.
No.
Yeah, this is really a preliminary piece that we need to do so that we can move on to the next part.
Realistically, we're not talking about until 26th, the next election.
That all
24.
depends on how this shakes out, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Final read for the Board Regulation 6143, Courses of Study. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second? Okay.
Routine. Routine and second read. We updated it to what we actually teach.
Yeah. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. And now we are on to motion to approve the final read of December 2022 Part 2 policies per guide sheet. Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion necessary? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You read my mind.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Motion to approve the first read of the March 2023 policies per guide sheet. Please move. Thank you. Second, thank you. Any discussion necessary? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Ratification of Superintendent Contract of Employment 23 through 2027, extending it one more year. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
you.
Note with the date change.
Okay, and now we got the consent items. Anybody want to pull, anybody else want to
Yeah.
pull anything off the
Just a
consent
few
items?
A through, I don't know, where's A through, I can't even.
Well, I want to pull Veronica off the consent items so I can say something nice about her.
Again, no.
This is a revision.
You don't get to say that. Okay. Somebody want to move the consent items as listed?
I'll move it.
And I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor of approving the consent items, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0-0. Veronica's resignation, retirement, termination, I think goes without saying that we don't want it, but, you know, it's part of the package, so we approve it. I just wanted to pull that off of it up there so I could give you a bottle of wine.
Oh, I was going to say, do I get a book? But even better.
So
We should open it right now for this meeting.
So I'm going to give you a gift.
Oh, that's right.
It's in a bag.
And
Thank
we'll get
you.
on school property with the straw.
Thank you. How about when I get home?
Yeah.
I think that would be sound.
Thank you, Veronica, for all the hard work.
Yeah, I'll hold it.
Yeah. Cammy'll hold it. Okay. Future agenda items, anything we need to add to future meetings?
I don't think so. We're not having another special meeting and.
We are not.
Okay, just confirming that.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So move.
One quick question before you
No.
adjourn. Do you want to put a July meeting, scheduling a July meeting on the June, in case you don't want to hold a July meeting? Because sometimes we don't hold July meetings. So I could
So
have
that's the week of July 4th. July 4th is early in the week, right?
July
Yeah.
4th,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then the board meeting would be
Yeah.
on the
Sixth, eh?
Thursday.
6th.
So I could just
think
put it
I'm
on the
actually in
agenda
town that week.
to cancel it, and then if we decide we need it, we can certainly have it, but it gives us the option to cancel
Please
it.
do.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not a special,
So
it's
we
a
just-
regular.
It's a
Hold on,
regular, yeah.
June.
Yeah.
The June
We're going to hold the June meeting, and at
What's
the
that?
June meeting, we'll have a motion about whether or not we want to
Okay.
cancel the July one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good call.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 We stand adjourned at 9:05.